So today I have an engine on my bench that I got, man, a year or two ago in a engine buyout deal, one of the few engine buyout deals I've done. At the time, I didn't think much of this engine, and quite honestly I still don't. But I've been doing a little bit of research and I dug it out of my engine box today. This is a Super Tigre G60 F. And kind of one of the reasons I pulled this out was because it's the same vintage as this beautiful engine that was given to me just recently. The OS H60. So I figured, what the hell, I'll take this thing out and check it out. Now when I got this engine, I did disassemble it to some degree. I took the front housing off, the back plate off, took the head off, and just kind of checked things out, but I really didn't go any further than that because I really didn't care to. At the time I just was not at all interested in this engine. So I can tell that I put Permatex Moto Seal gasket sealer here, so I wasn't going to go ahead and tear it apart again. But this engine is what I would consider in really poor shape because just because it is. Let me zoom in here. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Like there, it looks like there's some kind of either epoxy or JB Weld. This lug has been drilled, broken out, or whatever. All of these holes are kind of hosed up. Quite honestly, it almost looks like, I don't know if this is the way it was, but it almost looks like it was kind of ground down here. Maybe that's just the way they did things then. But this is a very old Super Tigre. This engine dates back to about 1967. Now I'm purposely not showing you the other side of it yet, because it came with a pit style muffler on it. Excuse me. Actually, it came with this pit style muffler, which I had absolutely zero intention of using. That's kind of one reason I never wanted to run this engine, because I didn't want to try it with a hokey exhaust like that when it was really not designed for it. Now it looks like it did have mounting lugs here. I mean, it looks like somebody actually attempted to put screws in there. But here, I'm going to flip it over this way now, because I looked this thing up on that model engine test site that I look at quite frequently, and I saw that it originally had one of these and it had a boss in the middle with a screw. So I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. I've got that old OS engine. Why not see if that butterfly exhaust baffle will fit on this engine? Well, obviously the screw didn't, but I found another metric screw that would. But I put the exhaust baffle thing from this engine on here. Now I didn't have obviously the push rod for it for the OS engine wasn't the same length, and it wouldn't work here, so I just found a real thin little push rod thing and just kind of formed my own real quick. And what I can do is, if it turns out that it needs a little bit more restriction there at low speed, I've kind of pulled the push rod out so I can do kind of manual adjustments just by bending the push rod. But this looked about right compared to what my other one looked like, and it should be fully open when the throttle is fully open. So I'm actually thinking about going out and trying this engine. It has good compression. One of these Super Tigre carbs that has the mid-range adjustment, so you can actually loosen these screws and rotate the cat's eye. I think I've got the cat's eye spring, or the cat's eye opening, facing almost directly down, which should be good. The thing that's weird about this is when I do my tests for, you know, how well I'm closing the throttle and everything, doesn't seem like this high-speed needle ever completely, even when it's fully closed like it is right now, it doesn't seem like it ever really stops the flow of fuel or air as I'm blowing through there, even when it's at full throttle. So I don't know if that's not right, or if there's just something, it just doesn't seem like it wants to go any further. But it may be that there's like some kind of adhesive or something on these threads here. I don't know. So that's another reason why I think I did a test like that and it just didn't seem right to me. But I've got this low speed needle adjusted such that it feels about right when I have a piece of tubing plugged in here and this is closed. The throttle stop screw, I still feel a little bit of air going through, like it should feel at idle. So I'm seriously considering just taking this thing outside today, provided I don't have work. Right now, our building still doesn't have power from the Hurricane Irma incident. So if our building gets power, I'll probably get called into work and I won't be able to do this today, but I'm certain this is going to be a rather loud engine, so I'm actually going to have to wait until at least 9 o'clock or so. Like I said, by then I may be called into work, but we'll find out. So this is an engine I want to try and run. Not like I like it. The funny thing about this engine is that I had this listed on RC Groups as like free. You know, please take this from me. I don't want it. That was how much I disliked that engine at the time, and I still, like I said, I have no love for the thing at all. It's old, it's beat up, it doesn't look like it was cared for very well at all. But I had it listed as free, or basically pay for shipping and it's yours, and I had nobody respond. Nobody was interested in this thing. So that's what we're going to try today. We're going to try and give this thing a shot and see if I can get it running at all. Like I said, the carb, I disassembled the carb completely and cleaned things the best I can. I know there's no caster gunk closing any orifice or anything. It's just there's that question mark about how this high-speed needle, I mean, most high-speed needles, if you close them all the way, you're closing fuel flow off completely, but this one is not like that, and I don't have a lot of experience with Super Tiger carbs, so maybe that's just the way it is. But like I said, when I blow air in here with it fully open and then closed, it seems to be about what I would expect. So I'm going to give this guy a shot and see what happens. I've got a 12.6 prop on here. From the review I read, this is supposed to be a pretty powerful engine, or it creates a heck of a lot of torque. I don't have any means to measure torque, but I'll put a 12.6 prop on here and see what happens.